Well, Star Wars debuted a trailer for the second season of Andor. And a little announcement about their president retiring. Oh no. Oh no. It might actually be true. Maybe. Yeah, probably. More on that later. Anyway, so watch the Andor Season 2 trailer, and it looks exciting. A lot of it looked really cool, and you're getting more of what you saw in Rogue One, which was the only good Disney Star Wars film. And I thoroughly enjoyed Andor Season 1, except that it didn't come across as a Star Wars story. But And I mean, if Star Wars was healthy, I don't think that would have mattered. I think it would have functioned a lot better. I can imagine all kinds of other science fiction outlets for the tones and moods and applications of Andor that would have fit in with, a Blade Runner and the like. Most notably with the trailer, I did not like the music at all. And I hope I don't have to hear any of that throughout the series. As far as the incidental music, it'd be nice to be on the more orchestral side, but none of this rock and roll stuff. I can't stand that. That doesn't work in Star Wars. And I don't care how far afield you are, it's the kind of thing that can push you out. That being said, the intelligence of Andor was quite striking in comparison to everything else Disney Star Wars did. And it was a very dark story and everything, and was rather compelling. And so it's the only one left that I have any interest in. So, of course, I'm going to watch Season 2. But Andor was never going to save Star Wars or anything like that. The only other product they had, which is obvious, and it really hit big, was Mandalorian. And of course, culminating with the end of its second season, having the return of Luke Skywalker, only to have all of that it achieved, which is seemingly impossible after what the sequel trilogy had done to Star Wars and Last Jedi had absolutely burnt it to the ground. Here came this little show that could and seemed to achieve the impossible. And then it was immediately stabbed in the back and burnt down again. And I don't think there's a third chance. I really don't. I checked out the shows that came out after this, and including Mandalorian Season 3, and they were all very bad, poor, with the exception of Andor. And that's about it. And then just recently, Skeleton Crew, which is this cute little show off to its own. And it was fine, and I actually liked it. But too little, too late, and the damage is so bad that just having a good show or a good film at this point will do next to nothing. It's unfortunate. So, little curiosities here and there that might get a view. Skeleton Crew didn't get any views. It flatlined, unfairly so. But that's the place Star Wars put itself in. And so a cute little show like that never had a chance. I don't know what the chances will be for Andor Season 2. Maybe it'll do better than that, but not nearly enough. And, you're struggling in the streaming sphere, which is very difficult, it appears, to really pay for itself, especially with shows like a Star Wars show and these superhero shows and stuff. They're very expensive. So, yeah, it doesn't look good on that front. Meanwhile, the news many have wanted to hear for a long time, and all kinds of, this is it, over and over again. Ding dong, the witch is dead. Kathleen Kennedy, this time, may be stepping down by year's end. And some major trades, Hollywood Reporter. It came out of a story from Puck News, but Hollywood Reporter picked it up and this sort of thing. So it's looking like there's some validity to this, and already starting the betting odds on who replaces her. Top contenders would be Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau. But It finally comes to an end, and all of that when she, in a rational, just basic logic and business motives or whatnot, would have ended her career a long time ago. She was a complete and total failure throughout this, and just goes to show all this stuff about her producing credits. It wasn't her. It's who she knew. Spielberg, Lucas, her husband Frank, that sort of thing. And left to her own, total collapse and ruin. From everything to the choices for the sequels to the parks, which they were originally going to go with more of an original Star Wars setting with Tatooine and all that, and they credit her as one of the big voices who squelched all that and said, no, you got to make it about Force Awakens and all that. Just one dumb thing after another. And of course, she's the main instigator that sabotaged The Mandalorian with the Gina Carano fiasco. So, your one chance to come back, and she had to burn it down again. So, the problem, though, is she's finally going. Now we can get someone in there who knows what they're doing. It's too late. That's so many years you lost. That's a generational thing. This is a whole generation you've lost in the years of squandering all of this time, pissing off the fan base you had initially, which you need to build on. You can't just throw them away like that. You need to build on their excitement that draws in more, most notably their own children, and you build from that. But you don't even have any product, and anyone brand new to it would look at this and think, wow, this is exciting. I can't wait to see the next. No, there was none of that. The sequel trilogy in and of itself was scattered, had no real point to it. But once you do Last Jedi, where you depict Luke Skywalker as a child killer, that's what they did. Don't try to wishy-washy about it. That's what they did. And how do you come back from that? Everyone's going on about, well, maybe time travel. It was a dream. Luke's in the shower like Bobby Ewing. It's just not going to work. That wasn't happening. And now what do you do? So then, Mandalorian comes along, and I thought, well, their best chance is they'll have some, fun space cowboy show, and that's the best they could hope for. And I figured that's what it would achieve. And then it does this Luke Skywalker return scene. And I thought, they may have more here than I thought. Even I'm beginning to think there's hope here. And then, no. And since then, terrible shows. And they did that Kenobi show, and that was awful. So stupid. But it's obvious what the plot point should be. No, we can't do that. They got to be stupid. So they did stupid. The Ahsoka show. Boy, I was hoping that was going to go somewhere with World Between Worlds. And it's just a snooze fest. It couldn't even respect itself with the whole, let's find Ezra Bridger and that whole storyline. And then, he's just hanging out with some turtles, it's fine. It can't even respect itself. So, the damage is severe. And so what's left, it says, well, Kathy's finally going. Yeah, well, her work is done. I mean, if she wanted to destroy Star Wars, she did. I guess she wins. So I don't care. Retire. Don't retire. I don't think it'll make any real difference. And even if you can pull some really cool Star Wars film out of your ass, at this point, you have this Mount Everest hill to climb that you built for yourselves. And I don't see it happening. Now, I'm bitter because a guy at my age who was 7 years old when I saw the first Star Wars in the theater, so I'm one of the old ones that need to forget all that. But I've been cheated of years where I could have had new Star Wars. And it's the same thing with Star Trek and Doctor Who and all that. But that's the deal. Maybe maybe in 10 years, I don't have the time to wait. So I've been cheated of those years. And also with Star Wars in particular, some of the others, a reboot and stuff, might be able to salvage something. But with Star Wars, you had that a Beatles reunion moment for the original cast. And you threw it away. You went out of your way to screw that up. And the moment has passed. It doesn't come back. You could recast, you could do an animated story or stuff like that, but man, that's always going to stick in everyone's craw. So, it's a cautionary tale with what happened to Star Wars. You know, there's lessons aplenty to learn. There is that. But ultimately, it's all very sad. And the only good thing you can say is, well, there's only 6 films in Star Wars.